I'm going to tell you about a dream I had in about the year 2000, about the tribulation period that's going to come. This dream was painted into my chest. It wasn't like a normal dream that you have in your mind. I could actually physically feel it being painted into my chest. So what happened was, in the dream started with just an invisible hand started to paint. I just saw the paint appear in the sky out of nothing. And basically I saw buildings just self-erecting, like tall buildings, shorter buildings, blue, red, green, all different coloured buildings, different sizes and shapes of buildings that were just appearing out of nowhere, just being painted out of nothing. And I was running to keep up with them as they were just built, just suddenly appeared out of nowhere. And I was running down the street, running down the road to keep up with these buildings. And then basically I had a feeling of nervousness and excitement at the same time, like a little bit of like an anxiety inside, but also nervous as well. But also excited as well at what I was seeing and what I was experiencing. But it was tinged with an anxiety, like I knew that something was gonna, maybe bad was gonna happen, or something that just something was gonna happen. I didn't know what. And then all of a sudden everything changed. Suddenly in a flash. It was a dark, stormy night. It was a very rainy night, very heavy rain. And I was in London looking at the Houses of Parliament, and I saw about 5 or 6 religious robed figures walk across the roof of the Houses of Parliament. And they were walking with very long strides, like cartoonishly long strides, very purposeful. I knew that their purpose wouldn't be thwarted, what they were going to try to do, what they were going to do, they were going to accomplish. And then I was still in Britain somewhere, it was still dark, and I was on top of a roof, like a flat roof somewhere, and there was a man explaining to his protege, who was just with him, about how to execute somebody. He just explained it very coldly and clinically with no emotion. He said, no, you don't do it like that, you do it like this. And he just took a sword and just beheaded somebody as though it was nothing on this roof. And the man doing the beheading was wearing a dog collar like a vicar or a priest. And then I woke up out of the dream. It was extremely vivid, and it wasn't just a normal dream. And the interpretation is, when I woke up I knew the interpretation of the dream. The beginning of the dream represented the kingdom of God being built, all the exciting things that God was doing in the earth. That represented, all the buildings represented that, all the different colours, the different heights of the buildings, different shapes, sizes. And I was seeing all that just appear out of nowhere. What all the things that God was doing in the earth was represented by those buildings suddenly appearing. And I was running down the road to try to keep up with them. And the length of time that I ran down, the length of distance that I ran down the road, I knew that represented time. So the longer I ran down the road, the more time was elapsing. And I ran the equivalent of anywhere from about 40 to 60 years in time down the road. I wasn't given an exact time frame, I was given a sense. And it was anywhere, I would say anywhere from between about 40 and 60 years. 100 years, it certainly couldn't have been 100 years, that was far too long. 20 years would be far too short, I knew that. But I would say anywhere from, so call it about anywhere 50 years, call it, give or take, something in that region. And that's when, remember I had this dream in about the year 2000, so 50 years from then will be about 2050. So I believe that's when the tribulation is going to start. I can't be 100% certain about that. Maybe the dream is a warning that this is how things are going to happen if things carry on unabated, if nothing changes. But prayer can change things, prayer can change timelines. But I was definitely given a sense of, like I say, anywhere from between about 40 and 60 years. And when I saw the roofs of the Houses of Parliament, what that meant was that when I saw the religious robed figures walking across the top, I didn't see what type of religion they were. They were just religious figures. They could have been anything. They could have been like Islam, Hinduism, Catholicism, people who call themselves Christians. They were just religious figures. And what that meant with them walking across the roofs of the Houses of Parliament, I knew that meant that religion was going to lord it over politics. Because religion is going to rule over politics ultimately, because politics deals with the here and now, but religion deals with eternity. And so these religious figures were going to rule over the political system. And then the next snapshot was when I saw this beheading take place, and it was a vicar or a priest doing the beheading. So that means people, obviously the interpretation is that some people who are calling themselves Christians, we know that they aren't, and they're going to join the forces of the Antichrist at the very end. And some of them are already on the side of Satan, obviously. And so, in the dream, yeah, I think that's. I'll leave it there for now. But that's what I saw. It was painted into me very vividly, this dream.